Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to you. And thank you for joining another leadership nugget with a cup of coffee with me, your girl Mary May, leadership strategist that'll help you identify what those roadblocks are that are hindering you from leveling up in your position as a leader. No matter how it is that you touch leadership as an executive, as a business owner, as an individual who is trying to level up in your career, there are some roadblocks and some barriers that get in the way of your opportunities that are right in front of you. And I want to help you pull that curtain back so that you can not only show up, but sustain the skills that get you to where it is that you want to be in your professional life that's going to blend and lean into your personal life. So, happy Transformation Tuesday. Thank you for always choosing you and taking an opportunity of saying, you know what, it's decision time. Let's go. Let's go, and letting go of what's keeping you in slow motion is so very important. So I hope you have your cup of coffee already ready with you this morning. Here's mine. Get my little sip so we can rock in. Yes. So we can rock into these nuggets that we have for you briefly in this morning. So usually on a Tuesday morning, come in, share some leadership nuggets, some strategies, some tools that you may be able to kind of move and position yourself differently in your career, and how it is that you are like living life and trying to create that balance, and knowing what the strategy is that may be keeping you with a limited mindset or a limited feeling handcuffed in your opportunity to kind of lead and lean in forward. So each and every Tuesday, I come to you with a brief nugget, some tools and resources. But definitely, if it serves you or serves someone that you know, please feel free to engage with the live. I do enjoy feedback. But then also, if you find that it's something that we talk about in this conversation, also feel free to decide to choose you to make that decision that you need to make today, and just say, you know what, I have 45 minutes to invest in myself and to identify what is in my blueprint that is serving me well, and then what is it that I kind of need to reshape, reformat, and look at a little bit more differently so that my productivity can change. And then also, you may know someone who may benefit, so please feel free to share that also. I appreciate all support and all interaction. So today's conversation, we're continuing this how leaders are, wearing a mask in their roles, in their leadership, and still expecting to excel. So I wanted to kind of pull back the mask, help you identify where you may stand in the space of invisibility and silence, and help you understand what some of those things are so that you can kind of snatch those mask off and be able to stand unapologetically. I was moving fast, I guess, unapologetically, so that you can be that survivor to CEO that makes those 2 millimeter shifts that you need to, when it's going to help you position yourself for whatever the next, or for whatever the breakthrough is on the other side. So the question for today is, leaders, are you leading from using the intervention, the strategy of band-aids, or are you actually intentionally doing the real work that's going to help you level up in your career, level up in your relationships, in a way that you will sustain and secure the contracts, the identity, the contracts, or the ways in which you want to begin to create your strategy that is going to help you move life and move the needle forward, that not only creates the opportunities that you seek, but also give you the space where you are able to um level up in a strategy space that you are interested in. I don't know what's going on with my words this morning. So in doing that, we got to create a pathway. We got to create an opportunity where you can kind of see the roads, the steps in front of you. You have a way in which you are able to sustain them and not allow any of the distractions that tend to have put you in a place of stagnation or limitation, or you feel like, okay, I always get to the table, and then when I get to the table to negotiate my pay, to figure out what's going on, to identify what is my transformation in this particular conversation. Because remember, every single conversation is an interview. Whether you are actively interviewing or not, something you said plants a seed in that space that's going to lead into someone considering you when you're not in the room. Someone thinking about what skill set did you describe when you're not present. So your transformation season is always ready to jump in and stand in the gap for you. And you have to reframe how it is that your perspective around your goals and your intentions are constantly always being activated to kind of support you in that way. So it's like when the activation happens, then you living life on your own terms with whatever that balance and security and things that you are striving for tend to come very, very naturally. So what we tend to wait for is the opportunity where we are having, we're being annoyed, we're being stuck, we're feeling invisible, but those things are being created of a perfect storm to kind of help you move the needle, for you to look in the mirror, do that personal honest inventory of identifying, when are you tired of being overlooked? When are you tired of being invisible and ready to do what it takes in the workplace that's going to help you change what the automatic tape is that's playing in your mind, so that you can have that daily divorce of self, of whatever those previous experiences are, that they're not driving how it is that you lead in today. So it's like, is it a Band-Aid, or are you really ready to roll up the sleeves and say, you know what? This cycle of how I do business, how I secure contracts, how I secure navigating what my pay rate is, how I am confident in the skill set that I bring to the table, all things are navigated through me considering the full picture of what it is that I need to do. And so when you look at your projected plan of how you planned out how you're going to get the job done, did you give yourself the appropriate time frame? Did you have the plan of action that considered all the materials and skills that you needed, to know who you needed to ask for to have side by side with you, or what you needed to consider as far as the space and breathing room? Oftentimes, sometimes as a leader, we can overlook some of the small minutia, the small details and tasks, because in our plan of action, we're like, this is easy for us. This is simple for us. But when you get into the work, sometimes life happens, but then sometimes there are other things that you choose to take the cheating route on. And when I say the cheating route, you're like, oh, well, I don't need to exert that much energy for this because I've done this XYZ times, but you're not considering that this is a new opportunity. This is a new iteration of you doing what you do, and you don't know what the blind spots are. You do know that some of the barriers that you come encounter with, you tend to say, okay, well, I'm just gonna do this little quick fix, put a Band-Aid on it. It's gonna hold itself together long enough, and I'll be able to come back and reverse and do what it is that I need to do on the other end. But then it gives me a time to communicate and do something else, because I don't need to waste time or spend time on doing this small thing right here. And when you do that, what you communicate is how you prioritize, or when you say that you didn't plan out enough time to get a task done, how that shows up for the executive team that will consider you for either the contract, the promotion, the pay increase, the sustainability of you remaining as a member on the team, is that are you really taking in account everything in the view, and are you taking in account everything that you need as a leader that you are going to be able to execute without any challenges? And knowing that executing without any challenges gives you that opportunity that you are now in the forefront. And sometimes you're in the forefront even when you think that you're hiding with a purpose that you don't want to be seen. But that time that you want to no longer have that perfect storm of feeling like they're always overlooking your skill set or whatever, what did you invite into that space for it to occur in that way? And so it looks as if when you put that mask on of probably just putting a band-aid on a situation and not really taking a stand back that this is a new opportunity, this is a new iteration of me doing, yes, something I'm very familiar with, but let me not take it for granted, because taking it for granted can be the game killer instead of the game changer in how you are activating your leadership. So that way, if I don't have my eyes on you from the executive team, can I trust that you are going to be able to take the strategy, the skill, the implementation, the everything that is needed and be able to move it to where it needs to be? Because you have to realize life is not a competition. Life is about helping and inspiring others so that you can reach your potential. But then also, life is not a competition. It should be about collaboration. But if you're intimidated by that collaboration, if you're uncertain that if collaborating is going to take your skill set off of out of the opportunity range, then you have to look at if you're doing everything from a band-aid approach. If you're doing everything haphazard and you're rushing to get it done, and you are not actually looking at what your responsibility is to making sure that every little detail is together. And then if you also parallel this to your personal relationships, yes, personal relationships and your leadership actually go side by side, and they actually, how you show up, how you activate, how you love on yourself, how you love on other people shows up in how you actually are confidently executing your growth and your ability to be that effective leader that is needed. And so if you are compartmentalizing and thinking that one space doesn't impact the other, let me give you this example. So this one example that I could think of is that you have requested someone in your intimate relationship spaces to make a change or do something, and you just said, yeah, if you could just do that, that one thing, that one change, our relationship would be so much in a different space. And you just left them to their own devices. Are they going to get it done? Are they going to just put a band-aid on it and probably buy some flowers or buy something very transactional in the immediate moment to make it appear on the outside that it looks good and actually doing the real work? Or are they going to put on the mask that shows that, okay, I'm just going to haphazardly approach how it is that we're going to resolve what it is that we're doing and what it is that we're saying, in resolving whatever the change behavior, the change request, the growth in our relationship should look like? What mask are they wearing? And what mask are you falling for? And then when it comes out to the outcome that seems like it's never ever coming to be, are you really ready to ask for a promotion in that intimate relationship when you haven't been specific, you haven't been clear, you haven't given a time frame in which it is that you would like to see this whatever it was that you asked for to be changed? You didn't give a time frame. That's a band-aid. I'm gonna just say something and to get them out my hair in this argument, in this disagreement, in this confrontation, being it right or wrong, weak or strong, like I'm going to learn how to navigate and create an excuse that pauses how it is that we can move differently. What's the difference in that versus when you're talking to the manager and say, I didn't consider how much time it was that I needed for completing the project, and I thought that I would be able to navigate and do this amount of the project, and that it would be sufficient enough to submit to you, and then I will be able to double back on the back end and be able to put a band-aid on the situation. You won't say band-aid, but in this essence, you will put a band-aid to kind of cover up what it is that you are doing, what you're saying you're doing, what you have the capability to do, and weren't able to do it. Where is the satisfaction in not realizing that how your strategy is in resolving conflict and getting the jobs done, and your procrastination, how it is that you compartmentalize without clear time frames, without clear strategy, without clear goals, that your navigation is keeping you stuck in the essence of not really knowing what it is that you need to do that will be that strategy or that 2 millimeter shift that is keeping you in a holding pattern, but then also in your strategy definition and your strategy implementation, you are in that survival to CEO holding space. You are allowing yourself to kind of negotiate, renegotiate, and think that I can put a band-aid on this solution. I can get my immediate microwave response. I can possibly level up in some particular way, but I can do that and then be able to go back. You're giving yourself extra work without just having that strategy and that balance that's going to be the instrumental step that's going to be the game changer for you in your leadership, to not only learn how to communicate better, but also execute and implement whatever it is that you need to implement without cutting corners, without identifying that, okay, I'm only good like with this particular task because yes, I feel comfortable with it, but apparently I felt too comfortable. Remember, you are unable to grow when you are comfortable. So if there is comfort, then there's a possibility that you are missing the mark in regards to where the holes are in your strategy, where the roadblocks are in your implementation and execution. How are you communicating to other individuals to have a successful outcome on a project when you yourself are not clear, when you yourself don't have the navigation and the pathways to implement whatever it is that you have been given? You're accustomed to doing the minimal and accustomed to putting a band-aid on it, and that is satisfactory to you because of the fact that you have felt that you are invisible and that people do not see the value in what it is that you bring to the table. It's possible that they see the value. It's possible that they want to compensate and promote you and secure you with the contract that you're looking for. But is there something else in your delivery, something else in your communication that is not showing them that you have the strategic ability to kind of balance it all and remain consistent? That if they were not monitoring you, that you would be able to do the real work and roll up the sleeves and unequivocally, like without any monitoring, be able to get the job done. If you are accustomed to shrinking for others in order to make others comfortable, then you are missing the mark on the true gift of what your unique footprint as a leader in every space that you enter really, really speaks to. And when you choose to be invisible, or I'm not going to say that, or I'm only going to do the minimal amount, I'm going to put a band-aid on this situation so that I can get through the conversation, but I'm not going to give them my all. You sell yourself short because, again, you never know when executive leaders, when people who have access to a contract, when people are not, truly aware, if you showed up on a minimal there, how can they secure your name in a different conversation to help you level up? It's time to move away from the curtain. It's time to not shrink yourself and not be invisible on purpose, and with that being in your intention, and learning how to leverage the skills that you have so that you can not only activate working and leading in your purpose, but that the change agency that you seek is the secret sauce that you have in your leadership blueprint. And so in doing that, it takes the honest inventory of looking at how it is that your energy, your community, your communication, how it is that you project yourself in spaces with other individuals, and how do you code switch? How does your productivity? How do you effectively move the project from A to Z, and all the steps in between? Being able to have that strategy that's going to give you that networking ability to recognizing that, like, all conversations, all interactions are possibly an interview. You need to make sure that you are in alignment with whatever your transformation is awaiting for you on the other side. But to get to that breakthrough, sometimes we have so many personal hangups, personal values, things that we just want to stay grounded in, that tend to be the roadblocks and the barriers that don't allow us to get snatched into the opportunity that's going to help us to level up. And when we do that, we tend to just stay and dwell in the space of, this opportunity was not for me, or they always look over me and I'm okay because I have XYZ benefit, or I have this upcoming opportunity happening. So it's like you're always looking for the next, but are you in the present? Are you sustaining what it is that you need in the present version of you, that you can, with confidence, with conviction, do what it is that's in front of you right now? If you're constantly chasing whatever the other thing is in the future and not really doing what it is and doing the real work of what's in front of you right now, then you're putting a band-aid on it, and you're not intentionally doing the real work that it takes for you to make that mind shift, and that 2 millimeter stretch of change and growth and execution, and doing it with discipline that's going to carry you over into being able to level up, not only in your career, but across all ways in which you show up in your relationships overall. So you got to be unwilling to, you got to be willing to unlearn whatever those thoughts and experiences that have captivated you, have placed you in handcuffs, have led you to believe that you don't really have the opportunity to be in a different space. You need to kind of interrogate that and dig in and identify, one, where that came from, but don't get stuck with where it came from and giving power to those previous experiences. Learn and create the strategy that helps you to consider and confront what is that internal struggle that you're having with having that vision of where you want to grow into, but not recognizing that what you're doing on a day-to-day basis is holding you in the handcuffs that you're so strong and trying to break apart. But yet the mindset that you have, or the ability and the challenges that you are experiencing, are not really allowing you to kind of just release yourself and be open to those new opportunities and new strategies. Things are always evolving, and you as a leader need to be able to show how you can also evolve in those spaces as well, and holding on to the things that you need to divorce from, separate from, make that decision, which is also a way of separating and growing. You end up growing into the leadership level that you aspire to, and you change the programming accordingly. So then that way, that performance review, that conversation, any comments or criticism that you may come encounter with, do not pause you in the space where you have limitations. And so that takes work. That takes digging into really quickly. And when I say really quickly, that takes really being intentional, focused, disciplined. Okay, let me look at what these blind spots are. Let me see, why is it that I always get on the road to navigate and I'm able to go straight for a very long time, and then all of a sudden there's a detour that distracts and takes me off my path. With the GPS leadership blueprint, you have the G is the goals, where you get clarity on your steps. Then you're able to plan and position yourself, that gives you that the peace of mind and understanding, okay, where are my strengths, where are my weaknesses, and not necessarily weaknesses, but where are the areas that I could grow and learn to do things better. And then equip yourself with the know all be all strategy, that is your unique secret sauce, that helps you and guides you in your leadership, however it is that you touch the world. That your secret sauce is now getting a strategy that's going to help you make that effective change that you are seeking to do in your current position and in whatever it is that you're projecting. So ensuring that you're not projecting with just putting a band-aid on a situation that's going to just kind of cover up and make it look appropriate in the moment, but it's not showing you in that long standing doing the work, rolling up the sleeves and making sure that you have dotted your I's and crossed your T's, that you don't have to do the extra work of going back to kind of reheal that band-aid. So in thinking about that and thinking about your leadership, you have the decision to make and thinking of and recognizing that you are a big thinker. But if you scaled it down and had your confidence pivot on point, what is it that you would need that you could stand in conviction in every conversation, in every project, in every task, in every new contract, and be able to excel with the way that you have spent time effectively and accordingly so that you got the job done? And so that's my nugget for you today. Are you leading with band-aid mindset, with limitations, or are you really getting in and rolling the sleeves? Remember, if in a relationship you are not given the time frame and not really looking at what are the specific changes that you want, is going to linger on and you're not going to be satisfied. If you don't give those things in your personal relationships, why would it also not apply to how it is in your professional standpoint if you're not giving yourself the specific time and breathing room that you need to get the project done, that you're also going to have that successful outcome that you're looking for in your relationships? So want to great morning to you as well. Want to thank you again for joining for this Tuesday Leadership Nuggets. If you are caught us in the middle, definitely go to the top of this and catch the replay. If you share some comments and love, I will come back and give you some feedback, answer your questions that you may have. And then definitely you can also do the third thing and do yourself a solid and invest in yourself 45 minutes of identifying what are the roadblocks and what are the challenges in your leadership blueprint. You can infuse the strategies that I have developed in my GPS leadership blueprint program. But however, before you even consider or identify if that's a good match for you, identify what are your roadblocks and barriers in leadership just from the way that you communicate, the way that you activate and execute. You could do that by jumping on my calendar and being able to develop your blueprint and your breakthrough chat from that point forward. So again, I thank you for another Tuesday, and I look forward to seeing you the next time. In the meanwhile, you stay safe and you stay well. All right, take care.